What's good? I am Northwest Arkansas. How are you guys doing today? It's Randy Wilburn. It is freezing outside. I don't know about you guys, but I tried to brave the cold this morning. I didn't have a real go of it. And let's just say the trail around my house is slippery. And I didn't fall, but I came really close to falling. So there's that. I hope you guys are doing well. Wanted to come at you and just share some information with you this week and just talk about what's been happening lately. Really excited to share with you guys what we're doing with the podcast. We had a great episode this week with my man Brent Hale from Chef Brent Hale from Big Sexy, which is right on Emma in Springdale. And Brent and I had a great conversation. The podcast came out on Monday. It's episode 106. I really want to encourage you to check it out when you get a chance. Brent shared a lot of his inspiration for how he became a chef. He was a former insurance agent, a reformed insurance agent, if you will, that decided that that wasn't what he wanted to do. And he ended up going and doing his culinary thing, and he hasn't looked back. And what I just recently learned that Sandwich Love is actually closing because they're going to expand Big Sexy Food right there on Emma Street, right in downtown Springdale. So I want to encourage you to check it out. Please support Chef Brent Hale whenever possible. Definitely check out his restaurant. They're doing a very robust to-go program. You can order right online. You can have Grubhub pick up the food and deliver it to you. You have a lot of options available to you. So I'd really, really encourage you to consider that and check out what Chef Brent Hale is doing. So there's a lot of good stuff happening. The next thing is I wanted to tell you guys about the Fayetteville Public Library. And I'll move myself up here. We recently had a situation where we got a chance to view the library with David Johnson and Heather Robideau. They took us through a behind the scenes tour, and I talked about this on a recent episode of What's New NWA. But a lot of people have asked me questions about the library, and if I could encourage you to do one thing, is it would be to check out episode 101 of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, where for about an hour and 20 minutes or so, David takes us on a behind the scenes tour of every section of the library. And if you ever wanted to understand, the rationale behind why they did certain things in the library, first of all, if you haven't visited, go visit the Fayetteville Public Library. I don't care if you're in Bentonville, Bella Vista, Eureka Springs, take a drive down. Maybe not this week because it's really cold and the roads aren't that great. But when the weather warms up, go visit the Fayetteville Public Library. But in the meantime, hear the backstory about why all the different sections of the library were developed and what the goal was, and all of the traveling around the world that they did to bring us the best library that they could bring us. And I got to say, David did an amazing job. So I really want to encourage you to check it out for yourself. But episode 101 really gives you a behind the scenes and really talks about David's heart for how he wants to serve this community in a special way. And it gets down to even the small things like the deli that they're going to come out. They're actually going to have a panini with a book in the panini. They're working on that now with Chef Jeremy Gothrop. So I really want to encourage you to check that out when you get a chance. The next thing is I want to mention the fact that if you can get out and support our local bars and restaurants, I really want to encourage you to do that. You know, I've talked to a lot of restaurant owners here, Jeremy Gothrop, Matt Cooper, Hannah Withers, so many different people, and everybody's trying to do the best job that they can to really put their service workers first, the people that are working with them, their employees, but more importantly, they're really trying to make sure that they still continue to serve the community. So I really want to encourage you, whatever you can do, to please support local restaurants, local bars in any way, in a socially responsible way when it comes to being socially distant, masking up, and all that good stuff. But, please get out and support our local bars and restaurants. If you didn't know it already, last week the governor canceled or sunsetted the provisions that required bars to close early, so you can get out there. You may not want to do it this weekend because it's going to be super cold, but when you can, just get out and check it out. Also wanted to give a shout out to the folks over at the Black-owned NWA. Northwest Arkansas Black-owned Business Expo will be taking place on Saturday, February 27th, and that's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Shiloh Square at 106 West Emma Avenue in downtown Springdale. Man, everything is happening in Springdale. I just looked up, and my man Omar is working on buying a property on Emma. You got Chef Brent Hale on Emma. You've got Black Apple Cider, which is right there on Emma. You've got a little bit of everything. There's a great taqueria on Emma. Right off of the downtown square there is the folks at Fat Tire who keep my bike running smoothly. Shout out to the guys at Fat Tire. I don't know if anybody's going to be on the trails this weekend, but regardless, those guys know what they're doing and they know their way around a bike. So if you're in that area, if you're on the trail, stop for a cup of coffee, stop to look at the bikes that they have in there at Fat Tire, and just definitely just look around you, because what's happening in that downtown Springdale area is huge, and it's changing overnight. I moved here, 6 years ago, and I don't recognize the place. I don't recognize it from what it looked like just a year and a half ago. So shout out to Kira Ramsey and the rest of her team at downtown Springdale for all the great work that they're doing. And Kira is getting the word out, both near and far. Good friend of mine, so just want to give her a plug. But I really want to encourage you, if you're a business owner and you're looking to expand your business, you may want to think about downtown Springdale. That may be worth your while. And for those of you that are coming to Northwest Arkansas to visit, please make it, put it on your appointment calendar to visit. Just ride through Emma from one end to the other, from 265, which is one side of Springdale, to the other side, which would be towards the 412 area, and check out, or Business 71, and check out what's happening in downtown Springdale. I think you'll really like what you see. But Springdale's coming up, and I just want to give them a shout out. The next thing I wanted to mention today is that I've been binging this show, Watchmen. I don't know if you guys have been watching it, no pun intended, but it is amazing. And Regina King is fabulous. I think this came out like a year and a half ago, and I had heard about it, but I just didn't have a chance to really check it out. But I would encourage you to check out Watchmen and see what's going on with that. It's my latest binge-worthy event that I, spend time on when I'm not doing things like this, or I'm not doing the podcast, because we've got a lot of good stuff coming up, but on the podcast. But when I do have a little bit of time to sit back and kick my heels back, like I might do this weekend, because it's going to be really cold to go outside and do anything, I've been checking out Watchmen. I would love to hear from you. What is binge-worthy in your life? What show can you just not get enough of? And let me know. Reach out to us in the comments if you're watching this later, because this is a Facebook Live, but you might be watching this a couple hours from now. Just let us know and hit us up and let us know what you're watching and what's really moving you at this time. And then last but not least, want to big shout out as I go on to Car-Mart. And before I talk about this gentleman here on the screen, because I'm just going to do a quick Black History shout out, but I wanted to mention to you that America's Car-Mart is doing phenomenally well. Paul Gatling posted something the other day about how the stock has just gone through the roof there, and it's a company that's based here in Northwest Arkansas. And you know what? I keep telling people all the time, there's so much happening here from a business perspective. So many businesses are doing super well, from our Fortune 1 business in Walmart to JB Hunt to Tyson to the University of Arkansas. There's a lot happening here. And then all these new businesses that are blowing up. And I got to tell you, I just sat down with James Farmer from Easy Benz. I cannot wait to share that podcast episode with you. Stay tuned for my conversation with James Farmer from Easy Benz, because if that doesn't motivate you to get out and do something different, or try something different, or even just try their business out, I highly would recommend it. There are a lot of like really great stories here in Northwest Arkansas of people that are doing exceptionally well, even during the pandemic. And James Farmer and Easy Benz is no exception. So don't want you to check it out. Now, this particular picture that you're seeing right there, that's Black History Month Minute. It is a picture of Jackie Robinson. He died too young. He was a very dear friend of that other gentleman who is Mal Good. Mal Good is the first Black network newscaster with ABC News. So this is your Black History Month Minute. What's significant about Mal Good, two things. One, Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier for Major League Baseball, was very good friends with Mal Good. And Jackie Robinson, because of the relationship he had with Mal, told him that he should apply for a job at the ABC News Network in New York City. They were going to be hiring a newscaster, a Black newscaster. And so they brought in like 40 people. A lot of them were much younger than Mal Good was at the time. And you can see in this picture, I don't know what year this was, but at the time of the interview with Mal Good, he was 54 years of age. I don't know. Somebody needs to hear that, because I know a lot of people feel like, man, I'm in my late 30s or early 40s, or I'm hitting midlife, and all the good stuff is behind me. That's not true. The good stuff is in front of you. So just ask him, because at 54, ABC News hired him. He beat out a bunch of young whippersnappers and became the first Black network newscaster at the network level. Covered a lot of different things. But I thought it was ironic that the individual that broke the color barrier in baseball was responsible for helping this person break the color barrier at the network news level for broadcast journalism. So I think it's kind of cool to acknowledge it. It's also his birthday weekend. Mal Good would have been, if he was still alive, he would be 113 years of age. He was born in 1909 in Staunton, Virginia, the son of sharecroppers and the grandson of slaves. So really interesting story. Just wanted to share it with you. That's my Black History Month Minute. Good went on to cover a lot of different things for ABC News, including the Cuban Missile Crisis. He covered the Ted Kennedy Chappaquiddick situation with the young lady that died with him in the car that got submerged there in Martha's Vineyard. He covered Malcolm X's funeral. He was very close with Malcolm X. He covered Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. He was very good friends with him. And he also covered RFK, Robert Kennedy's funeral as well. And he also, this is the last tidbit I'll share with you, he was the first person to do what, we've seen these Dateline specials in 2020. Well, what 2020 is kind of like a news magazine format. It's an hour long, typically, sometimes 2 hours. But he's the first person to ever do that. He did it for ABC News back in 1968 or 69. I think it was 69. It was right after Martin Luther King's assassination. He did a story on Atlanta, because Atlanta was slowly starting to change, and Atlanta was becoming a much more diverse city. But he called it was a special, and it really did really well, but it was called Atlanta, a City Too Busy to Hate. And really interesting story, and a really great take on it. But he was the first person to do that kind of news magazine type format with ABC specifically. And so I just thought I would share that other tidbit. But a lot of Black newscasters have him to thank, Mal Good, for their role in broadcast journalism today. And certainly everybody that works in the industry that is of African-American descent or person of color could look to him as being that dean of broadcast journalism from an African-American perspective. So that's what I want to share with you. That's all I have today. Definitely want to encourage you guys to continue fighting the good fight and doing what you're doing. I really appreciate the support of everybody that has been checking us out on Facebook. You can, these Facebook Lives are going to go live. I'm going to try to come live at 12:30 every Friday for our What's New NWA. And the goal really is to talk about the podcast, to talk about the guests that we've had on the show, to encourage you to go out and support them if they're a business, if they're just an individual, to connect with them, learn more about their story. But we all have a story to tell, right? And you have a story to tell. I want to hear your story. Other people want to hear it. So, let me know. Maybe you'll be a guest on the show, on the podcast. We'd love to have you. But I really want to get more of the stories here in Northwest Arkansas out there. I want to get more people that realize that, it's just, there's a lot of good things happening here. There's a lot of great people here. And I'm going to give this last shout out. Nate Walls came and joined me for the downtown Fayetteville Rotary meeting the other day. Actually, it was yesterday. And it was a fabulous. We talked for about 30 minutes, and it was more of a interview style where I interviewed him, and he shared with the Downtown Fayetteville Rotary, which is the best Rotary in all of the world, right? I guess that's what you would say, but I don't know. That's my Rotary Club. I love those guys. But anyway, I wanted to just mention that, and he really shared his heart. And I got to say, and I didn't put a link up here for his website, but it is secondhelpingnwa.com. If you ever wanted to donate to somebody that's doing the right thing just about all the time, it's Nate Walls. Every time I look up, that man has a plate of food in his hand and he's giving it out to somebody. So I would love for you to support Nate any way that you can. Check him out at secondhelpingnwa.com. And you can also see him at Secondhand Smoke Barbecue as well. He has a for-profit company where he does all of his cooking for catering and the like, and you can also order, and he's got his website up now, but then he does all of his work to help those that are struggling with food insecurity here in Northwest Arkansas. So really, if there was anyone that I would encourage you to support, it would be Nate. Do it if you can, and I would appreciate it. So that's all I have for you. I'm trying to make these things shorter. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. I'm still fine-tuning them. I think really they should be between 5 and 10 minutes long, somewhere in that range, maybe just less than 10. But you tell me, if you have time and you watch this all the way to the end, either A, you just really like me, which I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, or B, maybe I'm sharing something that's truly worthwhile to hear. And either way, I'd appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts. You can hit me up in the comments, and we can go from there. I look forward to catching up with you soon. I'm Randy Wilburn, the host of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, and this little program right here, What's New NWA. I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to the co-op for the beautiful hat. And I've got some other news to share next week, but I'll wait till then to do it. In the meantime, stay warm, and I'll see you soon. Be safe. Peace.